Let's have a chat. Let's go into a separate room.
Okay. I thought I would be chatting with Eastwood. He says he's going to school me on law.
No, I'm gonna have a lighter approach because I have a whole bunch of schooling to give a whole bunch of people today, unfortunately. So I kind of got a little bit brought up to speed. They said that you wanted to file a report against Bryce for embezzlement and government corruption,
Mm-hmm.
and that's for withholding government documents, correct?
Yes, he took them with him when he resigned as deputy mayor.
Okay. What I can do for you is I can take your statement for it and give it to the DA. But as far as what we can do, it's very limited. This would mainly be a civil suit from the government side, so the mayor side, um, in which you would want to reach out to the district attorney. We can help you with the paperwork as far as statements go, but the district attorney is the person you would want to speak to about this.
So
The
even though I want to
reasoning,
press criminal charges.
well, so the reasoning for that is if you were to press criminal charges on things we can fully investigate on without subpoenas or anything like that, um, we can do that completely. But with something as touchy as this, it would mainly be with lawyers. We can subpoena what we want to look into certain things, and I can assign a detective onto it, no issue. But the person we would have to adhere to and talk to on it would be the district attorney. So I just want him to be brought in the loop while um, paperwork end gets started. Because it is criminal charges,
Yeah.
and although it is more on the civil suit side, um, and it has criminal charges attached, that is where the district attorney is your best friend.
Yes.
District attorney can actually tell us what to do in certain situations like this. He can also run his own investigations on situations like this, and it's a lot easier having someone inside of City Hall who has access to that.
Yeah, so I don't understand where he's schooling me on the law. I understand that I wanted to press criminal charges. So I came to the LSSD to create a formal incident report. I understand it goes through the DA. I don't understand where he thinks his line of logic is more correct than mine in this. If I was just suing him for damages, that's me personally. Civil. I don't need you guys in that. I don't need the DA in that. But it's because it's criminal. That is why I came to you.
Yeah, and that I understand. I think it's more or less the partial miscommunication that's going on with us that we are clearing right now, which is why Eastwood isn't having this conversation with you, and I'm here having the conversation with you. Eastwood is talking to a deputy who has somewhat overstepped and overreached in this situation.
Was he not
Um,
supposed to take my statement?
no, he can of course take your statement, but um, the way how we do things here is when something is this sensitive, I guess you can say,
Mm-hmm.
the statement would come to one of the higher ups. We will get it to the DA and we will make sure not many people know about it. And this is just for the investigation process sake of it. It's also how a lot of criminals don't know what we investigate them for.
Oh, see, that I wasn't aware of. I didn't want to undermine your deputy and say, you're not in high command. Get me someone in high command to take my
No,
statement.
that I appreciate you for. That is no issue. The deputies can always take statements, just that the this deputy in particular um, took it to the DA himself, and
Oh,
there
he
was a
does.
lot of
Okay.
people around, and that is something we want to keep hush hush, you know?
I
That is our
understand.
worry. We want to make sure that that's kind of the whole reasoning with IA, right? My
Yeah.
job is to make sure nothing gets compromised within these walls. That includes people's safety and that includes any investigations.
Okay.
So you are completely fine with coming here and giving a statement. We are all for it. Um, Eastwood is just talking to the deputy in regards of how to handle it next time. So then that way we can keep it to us. I'll talk to the deputy, get that statement off of him, and I'll talk to the district attorney because I have a lot of conversations that need to happen.
Okay. So would East be able to make an apology for his comment? Because just tonight I was called a power hungry bitch for unsubstantiated rumors.
I
So
think
if your
it's,
deputy did not know the proper procedure to follow, that's not me not understanding.
yeah. And for that, I'm going to apologize on behalf of Eastwood because I feel like right now the tension with command is very high. We're getting, I'm going to be completely honest with you. There's civilians in the city that are upset with us. There's certain situations that are going on where people are being very power hungry and it's making people
Yeah, that's
not tunneled in, but it's making them focus on, okay, if they're being like that, then who else is? And I know you're not like that, which is why I wanted to talk to you
yeah.
and make sure everything's cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah, because I mean, I've talked to you before personally. So
Mm-hmm.
you know that Bryce and I, we do not get along. This is not the first time that he's insulted me, but it made me believe him taking the documents. That's why charges were not initially pressed. In good faith, he didn't do it on purpose. He wasn't trying to sabotage the mayor's office. But then after you publicly walk out, you see people are recording, and then you slander my name and the credibility of the mayor's office. Now I'm seeing malicious intent, and that's a problem.
Of course.
Because we still don't
Okay.
have all the documents returned, and that's some of the evidence that I provided to the deputy. And that's why I wanted it investigated, because he's saying things contrary to the belief he never took them. So now he's lying.
Okay. So I will talk to the DA, tell the DA that we should get Bryce into a more legal situation where if he lies, it's perjury. Um, Meaning I'm gonna try and interrogate Mr. Maxwell and put him under Miranda. Because that way, if he lies to me under Miranda and it goes to court and he says something else, he did do perjury and the charges will more than likely stick that way.
And you did get the evidence that I supplied to that deputy that day, the loss of
I haven't
access.
I haven't talked to the deputy yet, but I will get that off of him.
Okay.
But yeah, on behalf of Eastwood, I do apologize. On behalf of the PD, I do apologize. There's been a lot of heat towards us as far as conversations go. I literally have civilians in the city saying that if I don't fire someone, there's gonna be hell to pay, and it's just a repeat of what happened with Eastwood.
I understand that coming from someone who worked with Mayor Hazelwood and how that riot, well, peaceful
Yep.
protest, depending who you ask, but he was backed into a corner with Sheriff Gio at the time, and they just said, rip up the executive order, we can talk about it. So I understand exactly where you're coming from, and you can't just appeal to it because people are saying, do this now, this is what we want. You have to go through your proper procedures, and if it's completely legal, then I'm sure you'll take the right avenues.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I would really appreciate an apology from Eastwood. You can't apologize for him. It wasn't your comment. I appreciate the sentiment, but he made it, implying that I don't understand. Again.
Yep. I will go up to Eastwood and I will tell him I'll be right back.
Okay. this one works. But why is the head like... Oh my god. Better. I think I'm gonna use this one.
I believe someone may have just went to let you know that you're here. Oh. Sorry, I was just upstairs writing the letter. Okay. I'm doing well. Just trying to get caught up on paperwork and letters and things like that. Yeah, got to chase someone down about a witness statement and get names of the people that were there and fun stuff. I don't think they are going to be around today, but I don't know the other people that were with them, so I need to find that person when they are available. So, Cody Rivers, I think he'll reply to the letter, so yeah, no, I didn't think he would.
It's okay.
Okay. Oh, I don't have Riley's information. Yeah, no, I was just trying to. Well, I sent Cody a letter asking for everyone's name that was there when the horse got shot the other day, and you know, I'm just gonna try and chase everyone up for statements.
Here we are.
Howdy, Miss Kelly, how we doing?
I'm doing
I
alright.
was planning on
That's good.
turning back.
So first off, I want to start off for apologizing for saying I was going to school you in the law.
Unfolding that.
Apparently, I was misinformed as to what you actually came down here with. Number two, I never called you a power hungry bitch.
No, I never said that comment was yours.
That wound up taking
Okay, so that was probably miscommunication from my part, but I just wanted to make sure we clear the air on it on all parts.
Yeah, I just merely stated that comment, you were there tonight when someone slandered me and they called me a power hungry bitch. So to hear another comment, I'm gonna school you on law, it's just disrespect on top of disrespect, and I've already been disrespected.
not the race, the horse track.
Yeah, like I said, I apologize, but the report that was brought to me was completely civil suit, nothing to do with us.
And do you still think the same thing now after talking with
Oh, I
Cassie?
have no idea. I haven't been informed of everything. But from what I do know from the situation, it will be a civil suit matter. But I think Garcia was saying something about possibly malicious intent or something.
Yes. Because
But
originally
I
when
haven't
the
got, I haven't
documents were
got the full
taken,
story.
I can fax it to you because my original statement was sent in a fax. And if
Yeah,
you want
man,
to
I'd
see
be
that
glad
with
to
all the
take it over.
evidence. I didn't know that you guys had a procedure, and for something like this is only something that you would want stated to high command, so I know that now for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
So
it's
what
something.
happened is the deputy, who is a very, I don't even know, I think he's a very,
So far,
like,
don't really know.
very fresh deputy, to say the least,
Hmm.
brought to us that a document was made for a government agency and was still being used. And we wanted to charge the person with embezzlement and government corruption. And I said, this none of this makes sense at all. This will be a civil suit matter, and that's what they need to go to us for a civil suit. And then he still went to the DA with that information. And the DA said the same thing.
Okay. So what I told him was when I first was offered the job as deputy mayor, I went and I tried to ascertain whether everything's in order, check all the folders, documents, and that's when I discovered that business and alcohol license records, any business owner that had filled out an application for a business license, those had been taken from the office the same week Bryce had left the office. So I informed the mayor. I let him know he has to return those documents because it's government corruption because he just deprived people of their right to privacy. They thought that they were filling out these documents for a state institution and now a private citizen has taken them. And it's embezzlement because he took something of value to the mayor's office, those private records. So after trying to contact him twice, Bryce returned some of the documents, but the other ones, I had to take my own business license, photocopy it, white out my details, photocopy it again so it looks like a perfect replica, and then that is how we have been reissuing documents to civilians that have wanted business and alcohol licenses. I have proof that he stole the documents. The
But
mayor,
did he make those documents?
he did, but it's a state document that we only have the authority to have even made and issue. We got the authority from the governor's office. So he made those office under the purview of the mayor's office with the knowledge that these were state documents. He could not issue them as a private person. Once he left the
But
office, they weren't his.
but if he made the documents, then he has the right to take them with him unless there was a clause stating he had to leave those for the state to be able to use.
But what about the records of everyone who filled out those documents? If you read the terms and conditions, it only mentions these are documents of the city of Los Santos. These are state documents. So,
Yeah, he should have to return all of those. Like I said, that's more of a civil suit matter.
even if you want to push criminal charges of government corruption and embezzlement, that doesn't sound civil.
How is that embezzlement?
Because he took the documents from the office.
But embezzlement involves money.
No, anything of value. I read it in the penal code.
It's anything of value, and it also is in regards to anything of personal gain. So if he took the documents for personal gain in regards to his lawyership or anything such as, I don't know, creating fake bar business licenses or any kind of license from that document, that is a sense of value that can turn into money ship. That is where embezzlement can fall into line, but whether or not he is using it for that purpose is where the DA would have to look into.
I mean, to me, I wouldn't see how it's maybe a value to the mayor's office, but to me, it's not a thing of value because it's just a document. I don't see how he could make money off of it, or how that is in turn valuable to anyone outside of City Hall.
So for embezzlement, it says no person shall steal, abstract, or knowingly convert to his use or the use of another, or without the authority, which he did not have when he took on them, any kind of money or thing of value from the state of San Andreas or any department or agency thereof. So these were valuable as you can see without it, it would interrupt the business process. So once they get their lease from the SBA, they're to come to us for business and alcohol licensing. We can no longer fulfill that obligation that's been bestowed upon us by the governor's office because we now don't have those documents. We now don't have any records of anyone that has filled out those documents. It affects over dozens of citizens.
Like I said, I think this is going to go to court because I think the court, the chief justice in the lease, is going to have to say like this is the thing, because when it comes to my mind of embezzlement, it's got to be money. I still don't see the value on this because the mayor's office should have these documents properly at most.
For the embezzlement charge is actually in regards to property such as guns and body armor in case of a situation where someone were to, or even medical supplies. It's a situation where somebody would take something from an agency to turn around and sell for government, or not government, turn around and sell for monetary value.
That's what's listed under government corruption if there's profit, but
Hey,
not
what
under
is those shots
embezzlement.
being fired?
So that's why I made sure because
Copy
I
that,
thought
thank you.
corruption at first because people were deprived of their rights.
Government corruption also qualifies for when an individual does something such as embezzlement or a felony charge and they are in the employment of a government agency which is being affected. So, prime example would be like, say, I had an officer that um, convicted a felony charge against a individual that they were having as a suspect. This affects their work of place, plus also it affects um, the integrity of the PD in regards, puts them under government corruption because of the fact that they did that whilst on duty.
Okay. Well, that's why I brought the matter for you guys to look into, to have it investigated. It's criminal, not criminal. I personally think it's criminal because we would not have been able to do any business licensing until now we have to contract a new lawyer to draft us new documents and make sure that they understand these are documents of the state. You may not take these with you when you leave. That should have been pretty obvious, as there's nothing you can do with them. They're a state document.
Um,
And
the
then
only
the
thing
responses, the records recorded from it, those are clearly not your property.
Yeah, the only thing we can do is get the statements that you have given us and give them to the DA, in which the DA would need to talk to Chief Justice in regards to more clarified terminology to see if it would be a civil suit or a criminal suit. If it's a criminal suit, the DA will take it. If it's a civil suit, technically speaking, the district attorney is a government agency lawyer for government agencies.
Yeah.
If you want to sue somebody outside of the government agency, you can use the district attorney for said lawsuits as well.
Okay. I just wanted to take the proper avenues here.
No, that's completely understandable. We're trying to grasp as much information as we can here so then that way we can explain to you and we can also explain to any of our deputies in case this were to happen in the future.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. We're setting the foundational stones here. It's all a learning process.
Exactly. And I appreciate you for understanding that instead of being very upset with me.
Oh, no, it's not your fault at all. So, I'm happy. Take all the time you need. Just keep me updated.
Will do.
And you better not be upset with me either.
No, we're fine.
I don't know, your voice just got a little high pitched when you said no.
What?
Usually when I'm in interrogation tactics, that means you're lying. Yeah, you see you did it again. You said,
That's done.
I can't even get that high.
That's done. Yeah, yeah.
Happy Eastwood.
Yeah, that's my happy squeal.
Shaking my head. You can't see it, but I'm shaking my head under this hat.
How does the hat stop you from...
It's a heavy weight.
I don't question it. Eastwood's crazy. Go ahead and go.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know if you want to get the information from the deputy or if you want me to fax it to you directly. Either way, it's fine.
Yeah, just fax it to me directly. I'll put it into a proper form for the DA to look over.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, no worries.
Me and Garcia is going to address it. Garcia, have you read the letter upstairs yet?
You guys have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Let's go.
raining.